Hello dear students, in our previous video we have already studied about the Cold World War, how it was developed after the end of Second World War, and both the superpowers of the world, the USA and the USSR, were in front of each other on the matter of Cuba. And after the Cold War, now in today's class we will discuss about the emergence of two power blocks. So let's start the class. Dear students, after the end of Second World War, a Cold War was begun between the superpowers. Those were the USA and the USSR. Both of these superpowers were trying to spread their influence over the world. And that's why the world was mainly divided into two groups. And those two groups were framed by these superpowers. One, the USA one, and second one, the USSR. So both of these superpowers were trying to make their influence and increase their influence area in the world. So it was thought that a state was supposed to remain tied to its protective powers to limit the influence of other superpower and its allies. It was thought that a state will remain united to protect its interests against the influence of other superpower and its allies. So the smaller states in the alliances used to link to the superpowers. It was thought that the smaller states, they will naturally join either of these superpowers. They will join either the group of the USA or they will join the group of the USSR for the safety of their personal interests. And these two groups, these two superpowers, were also promising the small states, small countries, for the protection, supply of weapons, economic help. That's why small countries were easily joining either of these two states because they got every help from these superpowers. The alliance system led by the two superpowers therefore threatened to divide the entire world into two camps. So these superpowers threatened the world to be divided into two most rival camps. It was thought by the world leaders. This division happened first in Europe. Most countries of Western Europe sided with the US and those of Eastern Europe joined the Soviet camp. So the division was started from the Europe. Most of the Western countries of Europe, they joined the USA camp and became the member of alliance of the US. And the eastern country of Europe, they joined Russian camp and became an alliance member of the USSR or Soviet camp. This is why these were also called the Western and the Eastern Alliance. That's why these alliances were called Western and Eastern alliances, as countries joined US camp and Eastern countries of Europe joined Soviet camp, and the world was divided into two alliances, Western Alliance and Eastern Alliance. While Western Alliance was led by the USA and Eastern Alliance was led by Soviet Rus. So here is a map which shows the complete division. The yellow color shows the member of NATO members, including Spain, France, Germany, Britain, Norway, Turkey, Greece, Italy. All these members framed NATO, and the red colored areas shows these are the alliances of alliance members of USSR, and these countries are Bulgaria, Romania, Hungary, Czechoslovakia, Poland, Germany, and the USSR itself. And other countries, other communist nations like Yugoslavia, and other states are like Ireland, Sweden, Finland. They did not join any of these alliances. So you have to study this map thoroughly and understand it. And one map is also shown: first world, second world, and third world. Dear student, at that time, the American alliances was thought to be the richest one. So it was called first world, as it was most developed countries, developed area, and the members of this alliance was the developed countries. So it was called the first world. And the second world, including USSR, especially the USSR alliance, was called the second world. And the most backward countries, including South American continent, African continent, some part of Asia, including India, Indonesia, Pakistan, Iran, Myanmar, Indonesia, Thailand, they were called the third world, because these areas were the most poor and undeveloped areas. So the Western Alliance was formalized into an organization, the North Atlantic Treaty Organization. So the Western Alliance framed an organization. Its name was North Atlantic Treaty Organization, NATO. And NATO was established in April 1949, and 12 countries joined this alliance, and they made some rules that if any of these 12 countries is attacked by any other country, then it would be understood that the attack was on these 12 countries, and all of these 12 countries will help that country on which attack was made, and they will fight in support of that country. So it was a great help for all the 12 members of that NATO alliance, which was framed in April 1949, and that was also called American Group. The Western Alliance, known as Eastern Alliance, known as the Warsaw Pact, was led by Soviet Union. So on the counter to counter these this pact, NATO pact, Eastern Alliance or the USSR Alliance also made a Warsaw Pact, and the principal function was to encounter NATO's force in Europe. And the main purpose of NATO Pact was to encounter the spreading influence of NATO Pact in Europe. International alliances during the Cold War era were determined by the requirement of the superpowers and calculations of smaller states. As noted above, Europe became the main arena of conflict between the superpowers. So, international alliances during the Cold War era were determined by the requirements of these two superpowers as well as on the contribution of some smaller states who joined any of these alliances. And it was noted, it was quite clear that some part of Europe was in American camp and some part of Europe, eastern part, was in the camp of USSR. So Europe became the arena of this conflict between these two superpower or two superpower alliances. In some cases, the superpowers used military power to bring countries into their respective alliances. In some powers, these superpowers used their military forces, used their diplomatic forces to make other small countries join their alliance. Soviet intervention in East Europe provides an example. So the example of such case was provided by the Soviet Union. The Soviet Union used its influence in Eastern Europe backed by very large presence of its armies in the countries of the region. So Soviet Union used its large and powerful army to back the smaller countries in that region to ensure that the eastern half of Europe remained within its sphere of influence. And it was done. It means forces were used by the Russians or USSR to show that the eastern part of Europe was under the control of the USSR. In East and Southeast Asia and in West Asia, Middle East, the United States built an alliances system called the Southeast Asian Treaty Organization (SEATO). In Asia, Southeast Asia, and in West Asia, Middle East, the United States built an alliances called SEATO. Full form of SEATO is the Southeast Asian Treaty Organization, and the Central Treaty Organization (CENTO), Central Treaty Organization. The Soviet Union and Communist China responded by having close relations with regional boundaries such as North Vietnam, North Korea, and Iraq. In the counter of these two organizations established by the USA or the US alliances, Soviet Union also made its response, including China, having some close relationships with the small countries or newer regional countries like North Korea, Vietnam, and Iraq. The Cold War threatened to divide the world into two alliances. And the Cold War once threatened the whole world that the whole world will be divided into two alliances, Western Alliance and Eastern Alliance. Under these circumstances, many of the newly independent countries, after gaining their independence from the colonial powers such as Britain and France, were worried that they would lose their freedom as soon as they gained formal independence. So, in these conditions, in these circumstances, some countries who were newly independent, who got their independence in the recent time, were in deep fear that after getting their formal freedom from the colonial powers like Britain or France, soon they will lose their independence. They will not enjoy their independence for a long time, as they were forced to join either of these two superpower alliances. So cracks and spills within the alliances were quick to appear. That's why some faults and diversities and what we say differences were quick to appear in the alliance. Communist China quarreled with USSR towards the late 1950s, and in 1969 they fought a brief war over a territorial dispute. So, for example, China, which was in the favor in the camp of Soviet Union, some disputes were caused between the Soviet Union and China, and they formally fought some brief battles in 1950s and in 1969 on the issue of some territorial disputes. So this was the first example of cracks in the unions or in the camps of these two superpowers. The other important development was the non-aligned movement NAM. Another important development for the world was the establishment of NAM, non-aligned movement. It was the movement especially framed by the newly independent countries, and they wished not to join either of these superpowers, either of these two alliances. They decided that they will remain independent without joining any of these two groups. You may ask why superpowers need any alliance at all. After all, you may ask a question that these two superpowers, superpower of US and the superpower of USSR, they were quite strong. They were quite forceful at that time. Even they have some nuclear and advanced weapons, large and regular armies. So they were very powerful, and they were so powerful that even they could defeat the combined army of these small countries from Europe and Asia. But the importance of these small countries could be understood by few points like this one: vital resources such as oil and minerals. When these some small countries joined any of alliances, then that alliances could got its access to the resources of that country and soil and minerals also, and it also got the permission to use the territories of that small country from where the superpower could launch weapons. And next one, locations from where they could spy on each other. And the third benefit of these small countries was superpowers could be able to spy from the areas from the land of that small countries. And the fourth was these small countries were also providing economic support during the war, economic support for for these two superpowers during the time of war. So that's why all these small countries were very important for these superpowers. They were also important for ideological reasons. The loyalty of alliance suggested that the superpowers were winning the war of ideas, as well as that the liberal democracy and capitalism were better than socialism and communism, or vice versa. Then slowly and slowly, some ideas were developed that whether the democracy and capitalism were better, or communism or socialism were better. So these ideas slowly and slowly were developed in those two alliances, especially by the small countries. So this in today's class we discussed about the emergence of two power blocks, and in next class we will discuss the arenas of the world war. So till then, keep learning. Thank you.